And about 2 years ago, a group of us looked at buying boarding kennels. We've experienced that as our own, writing checks after a
Yeah.
vacation to Hawaii or such, and looked at getting into that space and realized that the space, there was a lot of sellers, but when it came to financing, the SBA was the only facility available. And then that facility through the SBA limits you on what you can do, right? Through their 7A loan, I believe it's about a $5 million total outlay. And that would buy about 3.5 kennels in today's market. And there's about 10,000 of them.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Robert Capelli, has a background building companies, raising capital, and designing systems that turn fragmented industries into scalable, investable platforms. And his new venture, Canine Investments, is a private credit bank in the pet hospitality space. Robert, welcome to the show.
Dylan, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on here, Robert. Pet hospitality, we were talking a bit before hopping on. What a niche space to be in. But before we dive into that, how did you get into pet hospitality?
So I'm what you consider a whelping box baby, right? Where puppies are born. My grandmother did Great Danes as I grew up. So I was always with the dogs. And as I got a little bit older, I did some boarding for stud dogs that were being moved across the country from the East Coast to the West Coast for breeding purposes. So high value dogs that were coming in through the States or internationally and then did their deed, if you will, and then were shipped back out. So I've always been a part of that. I did real estate in the early 2000s, direct lending, residential and commercial. So I had a background in that. And about 2 years ago, a group of us looked at buying boarding kennels. We've experienced that as our own, writing checks after a vacation to Hawaii or such, and looked at getting into that space and realized that the space, there was a lot of sellers, but when it came to financing, the SBA was the only facility available. And then that facility through the SBA limits you on what you can do, right? Through their 7A loan, I believe it's about a $5 million total outlay, and that would buy about 3.5 kennels in today's market. And there's about 10,000 of them. So we figured, instead of just being a kennel owner operator, which is good cash flow and a small, nice little business, we could actually be a credit facility. And so we went about setting up Canine Investments in the Canine Capital Fund to be a private credit facility and owner operator
Right.
of businesses.
Now, how long has this luxury, pet hospitality space been around? I feel like I remembered seeing, if I'm not misremembering this, on the Mass Pike heading into Boston, this luxury pet facility, and I think, this was like 15 years ago. I remember, that's interesting. But now I see them all over the place. How long has pet luxury hospitality been around?
So I think you're about right. I think maybe the 10 to 15 year, they switched the name, right? It's all boarding kennels, right? It's the same exact experience, if you will, right? Pet owner drops the pet off. They stay for a period of time. Pet owner picks them up, right? Inside the facility, those facilities have been increasing, I guess, the luxury or the experience, if you will. And this goes back to even in San Francisco when Dogtopia and some of those other Rover, right, which is a personal pet sitter, would come. As tech started to get into it, the millennials and some of Gen X all started asking for a better experience, and mainly for them, right? Not even for their dog. Their dog is there having fun, but it's the peace of mind when you drop your dog off for somebody else to care for you. You want that peace of mind, right? And so pet resort, pet luxury, all started to become a thing. And then it's just more money is coming into the space. It's a heavy space, just niche that nobody really knows about. And so that's why you're seeing that transition. But
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Now, when we talk about, pet hotels, pet hospitality, this was, as we're talking about here, a newer space to get involved in, but it does seem to have this tremendous growth. We were talking before the podcast, there's, only a handful of ways right now where people are starting these pet hotels. You either have to have the cash yourself, be self-funded, or you take out an SBA loan. So are folks that are starting these, pet hotels, these places, are they coming from a background as, business owners and folks who have great familiarity with SBA in order to parlay that, if you will, into the pet hospitality space?
So I think the first thing that you see for people coming in is an emotional attachment to dogs, right? Because you have to have that, and for being around them all day. But no, I mean, a lot of these people, majority, I would say, unless they're already an operator, have not experienced the SBA, right? And the SBA is 3 years of tax returns, a personal guarantee, a credit score over a certain point, and you go through a loan originator somewhere in your local bank that will package it all up and sell it to the SBA, and the SBA approves it, and then you have a 25, 30-year amortized loan, a mortgage, if you will. But that requires, either past experience or a great credit history, if you will, a low-risk buyer. And so that is really limiting the space, right? And as the value of the kennels increases, it's harder and harder for those people to qualify or come in with the cash or owner operators to carry the note, right? I mean, and so that is really the biggest bottleneck in this space, from upgrading facilities to having new owners, is really the credit available.
Now, when we talk about building facilities, I've heard from multifamily investors that, if you're looking at building new apartments, and this is shocking to me because as a Texas licensed agent, I see new apartments going up everywhere, but that it's tougher or more challenging to get these deals to underwrite because of the build costs that are involved. So when folks are looking at, opening a new pet hotel, are they looking at, ground up construction? Are they looking at transforming, a pre-existing space, you could call it, office space, into a pet hotel, or is it a mix of both?
It's kind of a mix of both. And so with multifamily, and I'm not as familiar with multifamily, but I'm sure there's some type of ordinance that you have to get a license to be able to have that within that space, right? And that's one of the big hurdles with kennels, is to build a new one, you have to go through the town or the county or the city and get approval for a commercial facility. All these have to be licensed as a commercial facility, and then they'll limit the amount of dogs that you can have, or doors, if you will, in that facility. So what you see mostly is people taking over existing businesses that may have already established a clientele base, or in the past have and still have that active license available, and then they buy and upgrade.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors. and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Now, I want to get a little granular into the operations of these facilities. So when we talk about, pets days, it's, family goes on vacation, or, it's the holidays right now, holiday season, your people are traveling, I'm traveling. So these are pretty much staffed like all of the time, right?
They are, and they're staffed by, there's a couple different ways to do it, right? And the two models that we see mostly are you have a designated, staff that is full time and they rotate, or you have a bunch of part time, younger college age type high school kids that or retirees, right? That want to work 20 hours or 15 hours a week, and they rotate that staff throughout. So it's a job creator in the community for younger and older people.
Now, some of the things that I've seen, these facilities can get super high tech. You can like see your dog on your phone. Oh, there he is. There, he's having a good time. But you can also do, additional services that are offered. How common is that? Are these like dog facilities kind of vertically integrating in the dog space? You can come get your dog, cleaned here. You can have the dog stay here. You can do training, or do they tend to focus on one of those segments?
So the main thing that you do see in all of these is, so it's a flywheel, right? The door is the entry point, and then you charge for extra walks or ice cream at night, dog friendly ice cream, or if the medication has to be administered, or training or grooming, right? The most common is grooming. They get a bath before they go home, right? And so you pick up your dog. She smells great. She's got a little ribbon on her head. You have a great experience. And then when it's time to bring the dog back, you have that, but it increases the value of that customer, right? Or that door by doing those. So you see grooming, training are the two main flywheel extensions of that boarding stay. And then you have these miscellaneous deals, which is administering medications or extra walks or extra playtime throughout the space.
Now, for folks who are looking at, hey, I would like to open up a pet hospitality place, a pet hotel. This is a large undertaking when you talk about not just, the staff, but then also having to be in charge, all of the time. And then on top of that, you're having to deal with, well, now there may be competitors coming into your space too. What have you seen makes an effective operator? Is it someone who maybe has a background in this type of management? Is it someone who just loves dogs so much they're like, hey, this is my passion?
Well, you have to love dogs, first of all, right? I mean, because that's what you're doing. We call it like rubber boots and a hose, right? So you're with dogs, you got your rubber boots on and you got a hose. But it really comes down to what we see in the space. The best operators are people who love dogs and then understand systems, right? So it's not rocket science, if you will, taking care of dogs, but it's a lot of responsibility. So it's all about the system, right? How do you make sure that it's a clean facility? How do you make sure that the dogs don't interact with other dogs to create some type of injury, right? And then the third part of that is how do you show attention to those dogs so that they have, a good experience, and when it's time to go home, they're not depressed from not seeing their owner 2, 3, 7 days out, because we all know dogs are emotional, right? And we can tell that change in that dog when we pick them up. So it really becomes somebody that understands systems. I think marketing now is becoming, with Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, a skill set that is pushing certain operators above others.
Yeah, how are people finding these I know that for me, when I was looking at the two that I had seen, one in Massachusetts, one in Texas, I just drove by them and they had these huge signs. And then my dog absolutely loved going there. So it's kind of a no-brainer, even if it was more costly than some other options. Are most people finding it online? Are they driving by?
So what we call it is like a refrigerator magnet business, right? So remember back in the day when your grandmother would have like 4 or 5 magnets on the refrigerator, and she'd say, "Hey, Dylan, go order a pizza," and it was from Joe's Pizza, and you dialed the number from there, right? It becomes a part of the community, and so they may find it by driving by. It may be a referral, right? Today, it's looking up on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and seeing if they have a presence, or they have a 1999 style website that's been up for the last 20 years. But it really comes down to a good experience. You pick up your dog, she's good, when you pick her up and happy, then you're going to continue to go to that operator as long as they pick up the phone and have space.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Now there's some, and you mentioned this earlier on in the show, there's some interest in like tech in this as well. I mean, I'm amazed at how seamless some of these processes can be. They'll have a whole app. You're able to watch your dog. Like, this is high level tech that's happening here. How did this come about? Also, when people are looking at opening a facility, do they kind of have to partner with some of these tech companies in order to make that kind of experience happen? Or do these tech companies themselves look at, launching these facilities under their own label?
Well, I think it's kind of how you come in, right? The reason that there's more tech or there's more resort style, I mean, we see dog trackers, kind of like how many steps did they take, that are put on, so you can see the exercise that they're having. Reports after they leave that you can read, like, oh, Muffy had a great experience, played with, Ches all day long, like that's her new best friend. There may be some pictures that are being sent. They have that 24/7 view, right, in there, a live stream, if you will, which is probably started about 10 years ago. They charge extra for those runs. It's an upgrade. But it really is where your experience comes in, and it's all to facilitate the want or the experience for the dog owner, right? The younger the dog owner, the more tech that they want. And so that tech is being introduced really to satisfy that feeling that the dog owner has.
As we're talking about this, I'm realizing just kind of how much people love their dogs, because you're seeing all this stuff, tracking how many steps a dog took, the interactions. You're able to see the video feed. I sometimes wonder if people are putting this much effort into some of the other areas of their life, but dogs specifically, hit a chord with people. I'd mentioned to you before hopping on here, my parents have a dog that's had like both knees replaced, and they just love this dog. They're cooking him like meals in order to extend his lifespan. And so when we think about our pets, they're truly a member of the family, and we have separation anxiety, let alone the dog, when we're dropping off the dog.
No, I mean, there was a article out from South Korea. They did a study in 2023, the latest, and the baby carriages that were sold in South Korea, 53% of them were for dogs out of
Wow.
the total. And so, there's about 70 million households that have dogs. So that's a large part of our culture is dog ownership, right? And so people are having kids a little bit later. These are their kids, 90% humanization, right? So 90% of dog owners believe that those dogs are really their kids. They don't look at them as an animal or a pet.
Now, I want to pivot a bit here, Robert, ask you a question, about some of the lessons that you've learned in this space. And even just talking to you, I'm saying, okay, how come other businesses aren't doing this? When we talk about things like, being able to do additional add-ons, some of the experience element, even though you're not physically there, you kind of feel like you're there with your dog. This is a level of customer experience that probably other segments can do more of. I'm actually thinking right now of, if you're going to like a Top Golf, you're getting kind of this seamless experience from the time that you enter to the time that you leave, and you can upgrade in so many different ways. But then our dogs are getting that level of experience as well, which is pretty remarkable. Do you think that we're going to kind of see this tech trend of, hey, everything that younger folks are doing, Gen X down below, you'll start to see this ability to customize, but also to have more of a, tech experience in everything that you're doing, both, for yourself, but also for those that you care about?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's limitations to how much tech can be involved with the dog, right? So you see, step counters, which we all know it's a wristband type experience, right? Those views. But I think what we're seeing is better understanding of the dog coming in. So we created a proprietary AI technology. We call him Kenny, and so he knows everything about the space, right? He can read through Facebook and Instagram and see how people comment on their dogs from, the activities that they have or the concerns that they may have or the food that they feed. So I think the kennel facilities, having a much better understanding of that individual dog is where this is moving. And you do that by collecting more and more information on the owner, first of all, right? And then understanding the breed or the mixed breed, if you will, of that dog, so that you can facilitate a much better experience and something that the owner feels is individualized, right? And so this all goes back to the owner, right? This is
Another
where the space is.
Another question that I have, and I'm not sure what your perspective would be on this, but dog travel doesn't seem to have advanced very much. It's still kind of difficult to travel with your dogs. Do you think we might see a change in that? Do you think there might be some dog travel friendly services on the horizon?
Well, you used to be able to bring your dog on, your flight, right? And then they would put it in cargo, and then that starts to get a little bit limited. Uh, but then it is where you're going, right? If you're going to a hotel or a resort for work, right, a work outing or a conference, or you're on vacation for a week, you have to have that hotel be able to be dog friendly, right? And so I think dog travel. I think every owner would want to take their dog. It's the host, if you will. Do they allow that dog friendly environment? And so you do see some upgrades in hotels and in houses on Airbnb that
That's right.
classify themselves as dog friendly. And so you are seeing a little bit of that. And again, a lot of people think of these as their kids, right? And so they want to be with them all the time. And for us, our experience is to create a space where it's just like leaving them with a relative, right? That's the experience that we want. And so they feel comfortable. Nobody wants a person to be stressed out for 72 hours and then come back. So I think that's where you're seeing the space is you won't see as many more traveling with them, but you'll really see, a peace of mind experience that's coming through these facilities.
We are coming up on time here, Robert. Where can folks go to learn more about canine investments, or maybe they're potentially interested in, opening up their own pet hotel? How can folks learn more about what you're doing?
So, I mean, obviously, Google is a great tool, right? You type a question in there, and with AI now, it answers it pretty well and points you in the right direction. If you're interested in learning more about the space or investing in the space or borrowing to be in the space, you can go to canineinvestments.com, and we put up a good amount of information in there. And you can always email or ring us on the phone, and one of us will, be more than willing to walk through what we do and share dog stories. That's how we've grown to where we're at currently.
Robert, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Dylan, thank you for having us. It was great to be with you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.